record to this computer. All right. I responded to your question. Got it? All right. This won't fall off, right? Shambhavi, this is not going to fall off, right?
By God's grace.
Okay. All right. Does it work better to sit here or there? In terms of the room? This is better, no? Yeah, that's what I also thought. It's slightly better.
That will be a little at an angle.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Durvara samsaradavagnitabdam samsaradavagnitabdam dodhuyamanam duradrishtavadaihi dodhuyamanam duradrishtavadaihi भीतं प्रपन्नं परिपाहि मृत्योः भीतं प्रपन्नं परिपाहि मृत्योः शरण्यमन्यं यदहं न जाने शरण्यमन्यं यदहं न जाने. The student making an impassioned plea for knowledge. A plea that is like no other. Meaning even the most, the most skeptical teacher will also be convinced by this. The most skeptical teacher should also melt by this kind of an entreaty. Why are we being shown this? So that we can employ this in our own lives and have this kind of a pull for the knowledge, this kind of a pull for the moksha. This is why it's being given. So the beautiful thing here is that the student knows the contours of samsara very well. And how do we know samsara very well? Because we are living through it. Yeah. Whether we are experiencing Brahman or not, we are experiencing samsara every minute of every day. Samsara is eminently experienced when? All the time. Whatever I want, I don't get. Whatever I don't want, double helping comes. Not only do I get that, but I get double helpings even without asking. As soon as I stop wanting something, it starts to come. And so, this is what is called in English, there is a name for it. Murphy's Law. You've heard of that?
Yeah.
What is Murphy's Law? If anything is supposed to go wrong, it will. It will definitely go wrong. And that is Murphy's Law. Murphy is another name for Ishvara. Okay? English name for Ishvara is Murphy. Yes. So, this is the contours of samsara are very well known by the student in the description. And what is the description? The samsara is like a forest fire. Hot, uncomfortable and spreading wildly, out of control. These are the three characteristics of the forest fire. These are the three characteristics also of what? Samsara. Hot means it is every jiva, whether they know it or not, is dancing like a cat on a hot tin roof. Okay? The cat on a hot tin roof. You sit here, give her the chair. Come. So when the cat is put on a hot tin roof, it's not going to sit nicely, quietly. What is it going to do? It is going to dance. This is the dance of the jiva. Because in a way it is unbearable. What is unbearable is not the day-to-day life, but not getting what one wants is unbearable. Because not getting what one wants only underscores certain other insecurities centered on the I. I'm not good enough. That's why I'm not getting what I want. See, the other person got what they want. They must be good enough. I am insecure. Therefore, I'm not getting what I want. This is the connection. The insecurity, the lack, the self-critique, the self-loath, the self-judgment centered on the I basically ratifies all my experiences from a very subjective standpoint. So what do I say? I say I'm not getting this because I'm not good enough. Already what I feel, I'm not good enough. And so any interaction with anybody, thing, person, event, situation gives me a ratification that I'm not good enough. To begin with, I don't feel I'm good enough. Then I go out in the world and try to make a few friends. And then what? Then I wish I hadn't, and then then I feel sorry for myself even more. It's like a wildfire because it keeps spreading. The feeling I am not good enough keeps spreading and keeps ratifying, like the forest fire, out of control. And then what was the second thing about the forest fire? So the one is, it is hot, meaning unbearable. It's hot, it's out of control. Unbearable. Because of my own wrong notions, I find the world and its people and situations therein totally and completely unbearable. I want to run away. Where will I go? Swami Dayananda Ashram. And who is the first person I meet there? My nemesis. Nemesis is not, nemesis is not a Greek name. Nemesis means the same person, the same kind of person that I was trying to avoid in the world, in the quote-unquote real world, is, horror of horrors, my roommate. Yeah. And then, what does the Acharya say? Acharya says, no, it was just random selection. So, Murphy is one name for Ishvara, random is another name for Ishvara, coincidence, third name for Ishvara. Really? No, it was random selection. You were the kind of person I was trying to avoid, you say. Here is that person smiling at you and not knowing what they have done. And this is what samsara is, unbearable. The more you run away, the more all the things you ran away from follow you free, without any charge. They follow you for free. Wherever you go, there you are. And if it is not one thing, it is your mother. Actually, it is another, but here I just changed it. So, if it's not one thing, it's another. Wherever you go, there you are. And so, therefore, samsara and the wild, forest fire also has these qualities. The third quality of the forest fire is that it destroys everything. All the greenery, the forest cover, destroys due to some carelessness, or sometimes it even happens not by human action, but spontaneously combusts on hot days. So it destroys the greenery. And similarly, the more I fester in my own misunderstanding of myself, which is perpetually ratified by every interaction everywhere, the more the confidence and the comfort, which I know how to self-soothe myself and I know how to be confident, both those are destroyed, eaten away, like the forest fire eats away the canopy of trees that gives shelter and comfort. So here too, my own sources of shelter and comfort, which I could fall back on, are being slowly but definitely eroded by what? This being called samsara. Very, very interesting. So this is the person in samsara. This is the and then it is the third thing, the fourth thing about the forest fire is it's that it is durvara, difficult to contain, cannot be contained. Dukkhena varayati, very difficult to remove. You can't just take one bucket of water and put, nothing will happen. Even they bring one drone and put water, plane, they bring water, nothing happens. Days together it burns. Sometimes 1 month, 1 months together it burns. And so it is very difficult to contain. Why is it difficult to contain? The student has very beautifully honed in to the answer, and the answer is in the second line, Dodhuyamanam duradrishtavataihi. Duradrishta. Adrishta, Papa here. Papa Adrishta. I don't know what Papa is there. So unseen Papa is called Duradrishta. Duradrishtaihi vataihi, by the ill winds of fortune, I am being shaken up badly. Here I am trying to contain the fire, but what is happening with these winds? These winds are feeding the fire, they are not containing the fire. Ulta. Ulta means it's all upside down. Here we thought we'll blow out the fire, but the wind in fact is nourishing the fire. So too, my duritas, my wrong actions, and the effects of the wrong actions are coming out even more and making it difficult for me to stay in this samsara. So the student has a knowledge of dharma, papa punya, and what is samsara. And then one more thing the student has knowledge of, looks around and no water is in sight. In other words, no sharanyam. Sharanyam means place of refuge. No place of refuge is in sight. Except one orange being is standing there. Guru! Yeah, because the samsara is not real. The forest fire is just a metaphor here. The samsara is totally is there only in between these two temples. That is where the samsara is, the heat and the slight of samsara, the insults in samsara, everything is experienced where? Right here. It's all a projection. And I don't know how to withdraw the projection. Why? Because of my own karma. And then ashrams start to look very good just about at this time. Vedanta starts to call, Ajao, come, please come. And so the student here approaches the teacher very sincerely. The student is not saying it just for the sake of saying it, just for the sake of saying what? Oh, I think I want to learn Vedanta from you. And then what? I'm not coming. And so that is not the student here. The student is interested, very much interested. Why? Because undergoing a forest fire. And so therefore the student says, Yad aham anya sharanyam na jane. I don't know any other place of refuge. Because this forest fire is internal conflagration, it's not external. And internal conflagration, the more I try to put it out, what is happening? The more it is blazing fire, blazing everything. And because of that, what do? I just am helpless. And then when I know that I am totally helpless, nobody can help. Mother can't help, father can't help. Why? Because they are also frying in the winds of samsara. And then friends can't help. Why? Because they are also in the same samsara. So one person who looks calm, even though surrounded by this heat, I approach that person as a student and then say, please show me the way. Very nice question. That is why. So did we do all the words? Dodhuyam bhitam prapannam. I am gripped by fear. Completely under the spell of fear. Paripahi mrityoho. Save me from death. If it's one death, it's okay. I'll go. Gone, finished. No need to worry. Nobody is afraid of one death. In fact, sometimes it is welcome. Yeah, fine, let's just, pack it up. Gone, finished, done, I'm done. Is it like that? No. What is it? Death after death after death after death after death. Every day I'm dying small, small deaths. Each day is small, small deaths. Each day is full of finitude. Each day is limited, and every limitation is a baby death. And this is what I am undergoing. So, bhitam prapannam paripahi mrityoho. Save me from this death. Every single day there is death, 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 death. Save me from this death. Because I don't know of any other refuge. Then the Upanishad, no, the Viveka Chudamani takes a little bit of a turn to show the centrality of the teacher in the gain of this knowledge. Because no teacher, no knowledge. This is how it is. Very simple. Very, very beautiful verse. I don't know which one it is, but you can see. It must be the next one. Shanta Mahanto Nivasanti Santaha. Shanta Mahanto Nivasanti Santaha. Vasantavallokahitam charantaha. Vasantavallokahitam charantaha. Tirna swayam bhima bhavarnavam janan. Tirna swayam bhima bhavarnavam janan. Ahetunanyanapi tarayantaha. Ahetunanyanapi tarayantaha. Beautiful, full of alliterations. The poetry is very, very up here. Very, very sweet verse. And what does it say? These teachers, like the one that the student has approached, are there everywhere. It's not that this student alone is lucky that out of the forest fire of samsara got hold of a teacher, got hold of a fire hydrant called teacher. No. These teachers are everywhere. They are moving quietly because they don't have Facebook accounts, and they are not having a Twitter now, formerly called Twitter. Now what is it called? X. Yeah. So they don't have a following on X, and then they don't have a following on all these social media and everything. And they may not have hordes of people following them. Like sometimes, people, it's all prarabdha based. Some people we saw here on the walk. Recently there was this huge city that came up. The one Mahatma came, and then he was here for 8-10 days. And big, 200,000 people, 150,000 people, not a problem at all. Even without advertising, that many people will come. So if you advertise, then imagine how many people will come. So there are those kinds of teachers also. But then here, those kinds of teachers, they don't need to be praised. Why? Because they're already well known. They don't need to be praised because everybody already knows them. And they have many spokespeople, many people doing their, advertising and everything for them. So the Upanishad, in the form of the Viveka Chudamani, does not need to advertise such teachers. Here, who is advertised are the quiet ones, who don't say, I have taught this Upanishad, I have gone and done this, I do that, I go here, I do this, I go places, I see people, I do many things. The person who doesn't say that, so there are many, many people, it's in the plural, Shantaha, Mahantaha. Mahantaha, even though it sounds like singular, is plural. Mahan, Mahantau, Mahantaha. So Mahantaha means the great ones, these great beings who are tranquil, who are the abode of and the incarnation, the very embodiment of tranquility and peace. And it is a peace born of understanding. Shantaha, a peace born of understanding. Otherwise, we don't know the meaning of Shanta. Shanta means what? Peaceful. We don't know the meaning of Shanta. Unless someone is married to somebody called Shanta. Very difficult to get Shanta. So, this is the thing. So, this is the very beautiful thing. And so, these people are the embodiment of tranquility. And then they are great. Mahantah. Why are they great? Do they have big ashrams? Wrong. And then not the correct answer. Do they have lots of followers? No. That's not what makes them great. What makes them great is that they know the greatest things, which is Brahman, as the truth of themselves. That's what makes them great. That's why they are great. And there is another reason why they are great, which is going to be told in the succeeding lines. Nivasanti, meaning they live amongst us. It's not, they may be living in the hills or little far away, but they still live on this earth. It's possible to meet them, it's possible to greet them, it's possible to study with them. This is a wake-up call for all sadhakas of Vedanta, all students of Vedanta, that there are people who will teach. You just have to look for them. Nivasanti, and who are these people? Santaha. Santaha means saintly ones. Saintly ones means they don't know how to harm anybody. Even if you paid them and said, please harm somebody, they don't know how to do that. They'll say thank you for the dakshina and move on. That's all. They won't know how to do that. They don't know how to harm anybody. They are just by themselves. They are just there as a blessing for the whole entire earth. And like what? Vasantavat. What is Vasanta? Spring, yes. The answer sprang forth a little late, but it did. So, Vasanta means the spring season. And here the Indian spring is not so dramatic, but if you go to Europe, if you go to northern areas, North America, Europe, etc., then everything is dry, everything is cold. All the leaves of the trees, most of the trees have shed their leaves. It may have been snowing, and then people get sick of the winter. In fact, they get a disease called SAD, S-A-D, seasonal affective disorder. Sad. They get sad. What is the symptoms of seasonal affective disorder? Sad. Yeah. They get sad, and then they have to go to the shop and then buy one, what is that called? Special lamp. Halogen light, mimicking the sunlight. Because why? The sun doesn't rise only. Sun goes around you. It goes round like this. It doesn't go like this because it's so far north. So 3-4 months, very little sun. And then, so therefore, people have this sad disease, seasonal affective disorder. So you have to sit under this light to mimic the sunlight and to feel that your rhythms, your body has rhythms. It's called, what is that called? Circadian rhythms. When to sleep, when to wake up, the sunlight tells us. Surya Bhagavan tells us when to wake up, when to sleep. And of course, you can suppress that, wake up call of Surya Bhagavan and continue to sleep till noon. But that's on you. That's not on Surya Bhagavan. Okay? Surya Bhagavan will tell it's time to get up. Naturally you awaken. And naturally you go to sleep. But all that is gone because it is, Surya Bhagavan is playing, hide and seek. And so therefore you need this lamp and all these things. And then after that, this punishing winter of cold, dreary sadness, suddenly one tree bursts into blossoms. You don't see any leaves, just blossoms. Cherry blossoms, orange blossoms, pear blossoms. Everywhere blossom, blossom, blossom. Think of what happens to the heart that was under the grip of SAD, seasonal affective disorder. Think of what happens to the people. Think of that joy. OMG, look at this. Finally, the color has come back to the Jagat. In fact, that is a sign of hope that the color has come back to my life. Beautiful. Vasantavat, like the spring. And in Washington DC we have Cherry Blossom Festival. Because of climate change, it's happening earlier and earlier and earlier. Before it was in the end of April, then it was in the middle of April, then it was in the beginning of April, now it has been shifted to March. Because climate change is marching on. Yes. And so then what happens? So then you just go there and then you just watch everything, and then there is what do they have? What is it called? Cherry Blossom Festival. Cherry Blossom Festival. And you go there, everything is made of cherry. Cherry jam. What else can you make? Cherry ice cream.
Juice.
Cherry juice. Yeah. And then sour cherry juice. Because if you have knee pain and all that, sour cherry juice you have to drink. Don't ask me how much. I don't know the dosage and all, because this is a Vedanta class. Okay, yeah, this is not a naturopathy class. So I don't know the particulars, but I do know that sour cherry, if you drink, it has some health benefits. And so cherry this, cherry that, all these things, you just celebrate the cherry. And then, there is really no charge. Yes, if you want to buy the jam and the juice, there is charge. But not otherwise. To go and enjoy the flowers, there is no charge. If you look out of the window, you see the blossoming tree. The tree doesn't say, please deposit 50 cents. It does not say that. There is a little hole in the tree and you have to put some money to enjoy the blossoms. No such thing at all. Absolutely not. It's free. Vasantavat means their joy is like the spring. It bursts forth for no reason. For no reason they are happy. For no reason they are contented. Whereas most of the people in the Jagat need a reason for contentment. That's why one can ask another, so, how come you're so happy? And then, this happened in my life. Some relative is coming, something is going. Roommate is leaving, that's why I'm so happy. So many reasons can be there. But these people are happy, no reason at all. These people are happy without any excuse. No reason, no excuse. They're just happy, like even the spring is colorful without any matlab. How do you say matlab in English? Without any ulterior motive. Yes, no motive. Just like the spring doesn't have any motive. See, I have entertained you. I have tirelessly stood here in many, many colored blossoms. What are you going to give me? No, that is not there. So, what does the spring do? The spring gives comfort to the hearts of the people. Just like that, these sadhus, unnamed, unsung, they may have never written a book, they may have never given a big pravachan in a huge hall. They may not even have students, because nobody recognized them and went to them to study. Not because they cannot teach. Nobody approached them and they were not having any pressure to teach, so they just also kept quiet. So then, they may not know anything, they may not have a big following, they may not be of any consequence according to the social standards. Yet, like the spring comforts the people, they too, lokahitam charantaha. They too comfort the people. They too benefit the people just by their presence. Just by a touch, just by a word. They benefit the people because their presence is itself so inspiring that the knower of Brahman immediately becomes attractive, not to everybody, but to the ones who want that. So then, Vasantavat loka hitam charantaha. Tirnaha swayam. And how did they get there? They crossed over the ocean, rather the notion of samsara. How did they cross over the notion of samsara? They crossed over the notion of samsara by studies, by studying. They studied this knowledge. How did they study this knowledge? Through another spring blossom called their guru. Ah. By their guru, they studied, and then they themselves crossed over this horrible ocean / notion of samsara, and then Bhima Bhava Arnavam. Arnava means ocean. Bhima means fearful. Bhima means that which is an object of fear. Bhima, what kind of Arnava? Bhava Arnava, Bhavarnava, the ocean of becoming. Bhava means samsara. Because samsara is a life of becoming. Why is it a life of becoming? Now I want to become educated. Now I want to become employed. Now I want to become famous. Now I want to become married. Oh, no. Now I want to become unmarried. Single. Now I want to become single. Now I want to become a parent. Apparently. And then now I want to become this. Now I want to become rich. Now I want to become healthy. Now I want to do all this. No matter how much you study, no matter how much money you amass, it's never enough like that forest fire. It keeps asking for more. So therefore, samsara is called a ocean of becoming. An ocean has no depth and no parameters. Even now they have not mapped out the whole ocean floor. Even now they are doing that, even after so much advances in oceanography. They still don't know what all is there. They are discovering deep sea creatures every day. Very funny looking creatures, because they are in the what is called the midnight zone of the ocean where no light passes through. So they don't need eyes. But how do they avoid bumping into each other at night? I mean, it's always night. How do they avoid? They are luminous, self-luminous. Yeah, another word for another explanation, another understanding or interpretation of self-luminous self. They are all self-luminous, iridescent. They have to emit some light so that they can recognize their own species for the sake of propagation, and they can recognize the other species for the sake of protection. They emit the light. So like this, so many creatures are there, we still don't know. Every day some funny looking photo comes on CNN. Yeah, then they will put this newly discovered something is there. Very funny looking it is to us. If it looked at us, it doesn't have eyes because there's no need for eyes, but if it looked at us, it would also say these people are really funny. Yeah. It would also have the same ideas. It's mutual. The feeling is mutual. And so like this, we don't even know what is in the ocean. So that's why the samsara is previously likened to a forest fire, is now being likened to a frightening ocean. Why is the ocean frightening? Because there are many unknown things. The seaweed of Vishayas. Vishaya means objects of desire. The seaweed of the object of desires, and then what else is there? And then the alligators, sharks. The sharks of doubt and despair. And then who are you? Sam. Oh really? Your name is Sam? Flot Sam, Jet Sam. Meaning pieces of driftwood just drifting there, bobbing up and down, afraid. This is the life. And so Bhima Bhavarnavam Swayam Tirtva. Tirtva means having crossed. Tirnaha, crossed. Tirnaha means it is from through to cross. It is the past passive participle. Tirtva means having crossed. Either way you can take. Having crossed. And they know how afraid they were themselves until their guru showed them the way. What is the way to cross the ocean? What should we do? Front stroke. Yeah, swim. What kind of front stroke, back stroke, butterfly stroke? What kind of stroke do we need? Huh? That is what Mirabai also wondered. Mirabai went to the Guru for swimming lessons. That's what she sings. Mori lagi lagan Guru charanan ki. I'm completely stuck, attached to the feet of my Guru. Why? Jhoot maya sab sapanan ki. Everything is mithya. Everything other than the feet of the Guru or what is symbolized by the feet of the Guru, Atmagyanam is mithya. And then she said she went for swimming lessons, but the Guru made the ocean itself disappear. भवसागर सब सूख गया है फिक्र नहीं मोहे तरनन की मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर उलट भई मोरे नयनन की. Through an inner revolution of my vision, so that my whole vision was changed. I never looked at the whole world the same way ever again. An irretrievable change of vision and a complete revolution of my vision, the Guru engineered. And because of that, now I see that what shark? What shark? What bark? No dog, no shark, no terrible things, no seaweed, no alligators, no riptides, no tsunamis, and no undercurrents. Nothing is there. Why? The water itself is not there. And so here also Tirnaha Swayam, they also crossed in the same way, just like Mirabai crossed. And in fact, this predates Mirabai, so Mirabai must have studied Vivek Chudamani and composed from this. They crossed like every other teacher who was previously what? Student crossed. Then ahetuna, without any reason. No reason, no benefit to them. Ahetuna anyanapi tarayantah. Now what do? Without any reason, without any benefit to themselves. In fact, there is no benefit to themselves at all. They help others cross. Help others cross this Bhima Bhavarnavam, this ocean of this frightening ocean of what? Samsara. Some sorrow or the other. That is samsara. They help others cross this ocean because they themselves have crossed it and they know the value of it. So they help other people cross. Pujya Swamiji always used to say that this is a knowledge that is given with zero manipulation. You do not manipulate the student even a slightest bit. You just give. Whatever they take, they take. You don't even expect. Even the slightest expectation. Everybody will get moksha. No, that you can't expect that. Thank God, moksha you don't have to get because you're already free. But even that to expect, it's a very, what's that? It's a very slippery road. This is a knowledge that is freely given. Totally freely given without asking for anything. So, ahetuna anyanapi tarayantah. Very glowing praise of the Guru. Beautiful. Very, very nice. Next one. Ma bhaishta vidvan stavanastyapayah. Ma bhaishta vidvan stavanastyapayah. Samsara sindhostaranesthyupayah. Samsara sindhostaranesthyupayah. Yenaiva yata yatatosya param. Yenaiva yata yatatosya param. Tadeva margam tava nirdishami. Tadeva margam tava nirdishami. Beautiful, very nice. So here, now after glorifying the teacher, Now we come back to the samvada, the dialogue. Dialogue between who and who? Student and teacher. So the student had said, I'm shaking. I'm under the spell of this samsara. I don't know what to do. I have come to you. You are my refuge. Help, save me from death. This is what the student said. And now the teacher addresses the inner child and the outer child also. Okay, the adult, both are addressed. So first is Ma Bhaishta. Ma Bhaishta means don't fear, I am here. Don't be afraid. That's why if you go into the temple, all the iconography are what are they showing? Yes. This is called Abhaya Mudra. In America, to show that you don't have any guns, you say, hands up. Don't shoot me. I am unarmed. I don't have any guns. Yeah. But we have a much better version of it. There is no need to be afraid. Abhaya. This is Abhaya Mudra. And you go into every temple, they give Abhaya. Abhaya Danam. And the various forms of Bhagavan bestow Abhaya. They give Abhaya. And so here too, the teacher is associated with Abhaya in a very interesting way, because the teacher is not separate from Bhagavan, and so the teacher knows Brahman, and the one who knows Brahman is free of fear. We studied that when? In the last life. No, today itself we studied that. Yeah. Today itself we studied that. The knower of Brahman is free of fear. The one who is free of fear is a source of non-fear to everybody else. And in fact, in the sannyasa ritual, see, the other religions also have monastic orders. Christianity and all, Catholicism has monastic order, but then they take vows of, poverty, chastity, obedience, and even the Buddhist Sangha has monastic component. They also have so many vows that are taken. In our sannyasa, only one vow. From today onwards, I drop out. I am not a source of fear to anyone, starting with the smallest worm to Lord Indra himself. Indra is always worried. Who wants my position? Who is doing yajna? 50 successful yajnas, only 50 more to go. Oh no! Indra himself is insecure, Varuna is insecure, and all the devatas are insecure if they don't have this knowledge. We just say like that. And then I just say, when you take sannyasa, you say, no, nothing on this in the three worlds has to be afraid of me from now on. That means what? I'm not in competition with anything. That's why if everybody is frightened all the time, I am not frightened because I don't want what they want. That's what the fear is also. Not getting what you want, that causes fear. So I don't want what they want, so therefore I'm not afraid. And then not only that, when I don't want what you want, then you are safe enough to be around me because you know I'm not going to snatch your things. Yeah. Just like one child will play with the adults, dolls, cars, toys, whatever it is. No problem. It knows the adult has vairagya. Adult has already played with many dolls, many toys, many cars. The adult is not going to snatch away the car mine. No. If they do that, there is something wrong, okay? But generally they won't do that. They'll just play with the child and give it all back to the child. But they see another child coming, they will just quickly say, because that other person is in competition. So here, the sadhu becomes a source of abhaya because of no competition, zero competition. Something very beautiful to see. Our Acharya embodies that to the fullest. Very beautiful to see. You note closely, you will see that. And so there is no competition at all. Zero competition. And so, therefore, as a result of that, what happens is that the other person feels safe. So therefore, if somebody is frightened and they go to a friend, the friend says, "Don't be afraid," they'll be even more afraid. But here the Guru is saying, "Ma bhaishta," don't be afraid. Who is this being told to? That little one that is afraid within, not the grown-up one. The unconscious mind, which is in the grip of so many fears, is told, no, don't be afraid, nothing to fear. Tava nasti apayah. Apayah means danger. You are not in danger. Don't be afraid. And already the student feels, even Tattvamasi has not been taught. Even Tattva Bodha hasn't been taught. But just hearing the words of the Guru, don't be afraid, you are okay, you are not in danger. Thank God, I can relax. I can finally feel safe. All my life, my whole life has been a nightmare, a daymare, both a nightmare and a daymare. Now I can finally feel quiet and unafraid. That feeling is first given to the inner child to calm it down so that the adult can say, when can we start having classes? When can I study this? When will the knowledge be gained? So the first line is for the frightened one, which is beyond reason. If you tell the frightened one, Dvaitadhi bhayam asti, only because of duality there is fear, only because of duality there is sorrow. It's not going to understand. It's going to cry even harder. It's going to be even more scared. It is beyond logic. So you don't reason with the inner child. And you don't say, come on, why are you still here? You shouldn't do this. No. You just say, you're not in danger. You are okay. This is what I remember Pujya Swamiji all the time. Anybody I used to go to him in great fear, in great, tumult. He would say, you're okay. Swamiji, what should I do in order to grow? You're okay. Swamiji, I don't feel good. You're okay. This is what it is. Ma bhaishta. Don't be afraid. You're okay. You're not in danger. And why are you not in danger? Because you are Paramatma. I am also Paramatma. What is the difference between you and me? I know it. You are yet to know it. You are in the process of knowing it. That's why you are afraid. Otherwise, there is no cause of fear. So I know this, that you are Paramatma. So therefore I can say, you know what, you are okay. And it's not a lie. It is the truth. No matter how terrible you feel, you are okay. And then now the adult is being addressed. The adult said, I need to cross over samsara, help me because I'm in this forest fire, etc., etc. The adult is now being addressed. Now in the second line, samsara sindhoho tarane asti upayah. Upayah means remedy. Asti upayah. There is a remedy to cross over this ocean of samsara. There is a remedy. And I have the prescription for this remedy. I have the prescription, and this prescription, what is the nice thing about this prescription? Yenaiva yatataha yataha. By which road? Yenaiva margena. By which road or by which boat, because now we are talking of ocean, let us not mix up metaphors. So by which boat and by which route, rather, that's a better word, not road, route. Marga here doesn't mean road, route. By which route all the people in the whole parampara have gained this knowledge and gone past the fear, this primal fear of jivatvam, of jivahood, jivaness. Tadeva margam, that same route, tava nirdishami, I will teach you. What will I do? I will teach you that same route through which all the travelers, who are the travelers? Yatayaha. Yatayaha, the not ordinary travelers, sadhus, sages. Were they sages as they were traveling? No. They were what? They were students. Having traveled on this route, they became sages because they went on the other side successfully. And if we take the metaphor of a road also, no harm. Because what kind of a road do you want? If there are two paths and one of them looks very intriguing and the other one looks very boring, why? Because everybody is going on that only. And then, all the sadhus and sannyasis have gone on it. No, I want the intriguing path. Don't choose that. Because the path less trodden will always be having more danger. Because it's unknown. It is away from, one is the parampara path and the other one is what? Apne aap path. Yeah. It's like my own way of crossing samsara. Why should I listen to you? Why should I need the parampara? Parampara is boring. Because the same things you have been doing for 5,000 years, no shame you have. You should be creative. You should be creative. You should do important new things. Why you want to do the same old? What's wrong with you? You should do new things. Let's find a new way. And I'll name it after myself. I don't want to be a sampradayavit. Sampradayavit means the one who knows sampradaya. What do I want to be? Sampradaya krit. I want to be the maker and the shaker of a new sampradaya. Who is with me? Nobody should raise their hands. Here, nobody should raise their hands. Please go on your own. Yes. Nobody should follow such a person also. Why? Because look at the benefits of traveling a well-trodden path. No kanta, what is kanta in English? Thorn. No thorn is there. Why? Because if it had pricked somebody, they would have removed and kept it aside. Why? Because ahetuna, without any reason, they benefit, the sadhus benefit others. So whoever has trodden the path has gained the destination and has made the road even nicer, even smoother, new ways. The pramana is the same. The pramana in the hands of the guru becomes a dynamic living thing that speaks to the people at this time. Etad desha kala. At this time, this place, it brings the shastra, the body of the shastra becomes alive when handled by a person who knows how to handle the pramana. That handling itself is all the creativity we need. That's what is needed to make it alive, to touch the heart, the words have the power to dismantle the walls that we have built around the heart, where our own darshan of Bhagavan we are denied because of the walls. Here the words are like flowers offered to that Bhagavan, but first the flowers dismantle the wall. If there is enough Shraddha, it happens. It's very beautiful. And so here, the same road by which everybody has traversed, and what? You will not find skeletons on the way. It's not that they did not make it. Like going through Kalahari desert, you will find skeletons. No, they made it. And you will also make it. Imagine the nice, soothing feeling the student must have felt hearing the words of the teacher. And then the teaching continues. We'll see that tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. I have something. Come.
It's 6:30, right?
Huh?
6:30.
What do we do? Oh, that is also there. Okay, all right. Yes, I'll be here. 6:30, Taittiriya Bhashya. Okay, all right, done.